It's unprecedented that we are, unprecedented in my experience certainly, Councillor Truesdale might contradict me, but unprecedented that we're meeting in this Assembly Hall. And I think that reflects the fact that we are dealing with a very unprecedented situation, with cuts bigger than we've seen in public funding since before the Second World War. And I do thank councillors for their forbearance given the events upstairs this evening. But the political situation in front of us remains very challenging in the extreme. I'm sure I'm not the only person in this room who remembers Cllr before the election saying that cutting public spending too early would risk, quote, pulling out the carpet from under the feet of the British economy. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who remembers him too speaking about making early cuts during the first year of the life of a government. He said, merrily slashing now is an act of economic masochism. If any party had to rely on our support, and we were involved in government, of course we would say no. But he didn't say no, he said yes. He also said yes to breaking his pledge on tuition fees, breaking his pledge not to raise VAT, breaking his pledge to stop all bankers' bonuses for 2 years. All those Lib Dem leaflets we saw in Lambeth, not one of them mentioned that they were going to cut 70% off housing repairs, or 60% off rebuilding schools, or end secure tenancies, or treble rents, or cut 1 in every £3 that this council had to spend. I have little doubt that those decisions will rebound on the Liberal Democrats, but far more importantly than that, they will cause real pain to people living in this borough. And you can argue all you like about who caused this situation, the previous government, or a global banking crisis that hit every major industrial economy in the Western world. But when you talk about overspending, I can remember when the Tories and the Liberals ran this council, they used to complain that their funding increases were not enough. They never complained that there was too much spending. But wherever you stand on that point, is it fair that this Tory-led government has chosen to pay down the debt by front-loading their cuts and targeting the poorest people in the poorest places in our country, places like London Borough and Lambeth?
Shame on you.
This council will do whatever we can to protect the most vulnerable people in our borough from these Tory Lib Dem cuts. But there will be no going back to the 1980s. There will be no illegal budgets. That failed in the past. We will not run up the white flag and let Eric Pickles send in his administrators to make far deeper cuts that will hit this borough and the people who rely on our services even harder. Instead, tonight we will set a budget that seeks to protect the most vulnerable, keep people safe, and invest in better homes, better schools, and help to get people back to work. Above all, we will cut costs before cutting services, and that's why, despite facing a £37 million funding reduction from the government this year, only £1 million worth of services will close. That's £1 million worth too many. But the fact it's not far worse is because this council and this administration has protected the front line. We understand and we share people's anger over what is going on. We see that tonight in what's going up in the chamber. But this council will behave responsibly, because that is the best way to protect as many services and protect as many people as possible. I commend to you tonight not the reckless antics of the Liberal Democrats, but a budget that tries to protect what matters most to ordinary people. This is Mr. Mayor. This is not a budget any of us wanted, but it is the best that we can do in dreadful circumstances that have their origin far beyond this town hall.